What is up, YouTube? JankyYGO here. My name is Michael, and in this video, we are going to be going over the new Forbidden and Limited list coming to Master Duel. We're finally getting an update, and I'm going to be real with you. I've already read it. This list is garbage, and it does absolutely nothing to the current metagame, except for a few things, and we'll get into what it does. But yeah, so what are the but first, we'll go over the changes. Cards that are limited: Ben 10, Conquistador, the Golden Land. That's the one that pops face-up cards when you have a Golden Lord that doesn't target. Semi-limited cards, you got DD Dynamite, Sekka's Light, Fusion Destiny, the Phantom Knight of Torn Scales, Fractal, Virtual World, Roshi, Lao Lao, Lyralist, Cobalt Sparrow, Prank Kid Roxy, Adamancipator, and Analyzer. And then for the unlimited cards, we got Red Eyes, Darkness Metal Dragon. So, the Ben 10 hit is a direct hit to Drytron, but the problem is that doesn't do anything to Drytrons as a whole. It hurts their consistency a tiny bit, but it's not really enough to do anything because I have seen them and played against them enough times to watch them recycle that Ben 10 over and over and over again, the same one, without searching any more copies of it. The Conquistador of the Golden Land is a decent hit, but the problem is that it doesn't do enough, and I would rather have seen some of the other floodgates get hit instead. Popping a card is a good card effect. That's absolutely good, and it can be backbreaking against certain decks. But the problem is with that card is that it's not a good hit for the Eldritch deck. The problem with Eldritch is that they can play literally every floodgate under the sun. When we move to the semi-limited list, the only okay change, it could have been better, they could have just killed the deck outright, is the DD Dynamite. DD Dynamite change. Excuse me. DD Dynamite is used in this FDK with Eater of Millions, or not Eater of Millions, the trap card that banishes everybody's extra deck. If they wanted to kill this FDK deck that's been a big issue on Master Duel for being best of one, because Master Duel is best of one, you just hit. You should have limited this card. It would have killed the deck outright. Now, Sekka's Light. Sekka's Light hit doesn't do anything. Not a lot of decks are playing it, and the ones that are playing it, they can probably get away with not playing Sekka's Light and playing other versions or other cards. So that doesn't really do too much. Fusion Destiny getting semi-limited. This doesn't do too much. They have access to Verte and Anaconda, and on top of all that, you have ways to pretty much, they don't need it, is what I'm trying to say. Fusion Destiny, you don't need it in it as much as, but yeah, it's not a good hit. It doesn't do anything, and neither does the Phantom Knight of Torn Scales. If they wanted to hit the PK Fire deck, they should have just hit Rongo, because the PK Fire deck, the Rongo version, is the problem. The other version is not. I have played against both decks many, many times, and the only time I ever beat the Rongo deck is when they mess up. The only time I beat the Phantom Knight deck, I've won and lost against that deck, and it's a much better game and everything like that. Fractal doesn't do anything out of the semi-limit as well. It can hurt the deck's consistency, but you can search it because we have 3 Tankies, we have Sparrow, we have all these cards that search it, and so it effectively does nothing. Too. Neither does Virtual World Roshi Lala. If they want to hit Virtual World, they can still make the deck playable, and all they have to do is hit True King of all Calamities. Once they hit that card, Virtual World becomes a good deck, but it becomes a fair deck. Lyralisk, Cobalt Sparrow. Cobalt Sparrow doesn't do anything once again. If you want to hit the Lyralisk Tri-Brigade deck, you hit the Recital Starling, like that happened in the TCG, or the Link monster, the Link 3, that happened over here in the TCG. That pretty much killed the deck outright. As for the Tri-Brigade Zoo deck, you should ban Trident. Trident is, it would discourage people from running Zoo and all that. Prank Kid Roxy's. I don't see too many Prank Kid decks And you could argue that this is a hit to Adamancipator, but this isn't even a good hit to Adamancipator. Adamancipator and Analyzer. This is the worst card you could hit for an Adamancipator deck when you could have just banned Block Dragon and then the deck falls apart. It doesn't do anything, or it does, and it's still kind of playable, but it's not nearly as broken and everything like that. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon coming out the list doesn't do anything. That's perfectly fine. It's fine at 3, I guess. That's probably where it should be. But now we're going to get into another issue. So, another issue is dismantling. So you get 20 points for dismantling a card that's going to be limited, semi-limited, or forbidden on the next list. That's what they're putting in at this current point in time. So, what does this do? Well, getting 20 points is better than getting 10, and everybody knows that. However, I would have much rather it have been 30. Or have it scale, because while dismantling a 20 card, or getting 20 points for dismantling a normal card is twice as good, doing it for doing it for one of your like special cards and everything like that, especially if you only have 3, you're losing out on a lot of value, because if you had the one finishes that when you usually dismantle you get 15 points, you're still only getting 20. If you do it with you know, the cool foily one, you're still only going to get probably 30. It's not scaling upward, and as it should. I honestly think that it should be scaled upwards for it. So, that is my take on this Master Duel. Finish 30 will be gained 10 plus. Oh, it's a bonus of 20, excuse me. So, never mind, it's a bonus of 20. That makes it much better. Alright, ignore the previous rant, I guess. That wasn't clear. It didn't say a bonus 20, it just said you get 20. 20 points, oh, bonus. That's my bad. Okay. But anyway, more focused on this list. It doesn't do anything, and I'm very disappointed in it. Whoever's handling the balancing over at the Konami Master Duel, I wish that they would update more frequently, I guess. This isn't very good, in my opinion. It doesn't do enough. You can tell that they don't play this format, and they don't understand anything about the format. They understand maybe DD Dynamite's an issue and everything like that, and maybe what they're doing is they're looking at percentages, and they can tell by percentage what decks are being played more. And the reason they're slightly hitting is because Master Duel, despite having best decks just flat out that aren't very interactable and it's not very fun to play against, does have a semi-diverse format, but I think that's more because of the players and less because of what's good. I honestly think that this list could have been so much better. They could have hit DD Dynamite to 1. That pretty much kills that deck. They could have limited Ben 10, banned Ava, and Drytron still would have probably been a good deck, as we have seen in the TCG. It's still doing stuff. For Eldritch, they could have just hit some of the floodgates like Imperial Order and stuff like that, and it makes it much easier to play against. That means, like, without Imperial Order, that means that, like, we get access to blowing up back row cards and stuff like that, and those cards aren't shut off like they are a lot of the time when you play against Eldritch. It's just, this list, we've been waiting for a new list. It's been like 3 months. It's gonna be technically almost 4 when this list comes out, because it's coming out in May, and it's still not enough. They need to hit so much more, and there's nothing about this list that really, it's very disappointing, and I hope that, you know, we get a new list sooner than we did this one. Even as like an overcorrection, I would be fine with it, I guess. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. You can tell me what you think about this list in the comments section down below. If it is your birthday today, happy birthday. And if you want to send me any cool deck profiles or replays, you send them to JankyYGO at gmail.com. And of course, and as always, have a wonderful day.